Welcome to Real Talk, Real Growth, where we explore the journeys that shape careers, the obstacles that build resilience, and the wisdom gained along the way. At Working Wardrobes, we believe that everyone deserves the opportunity to build a fulfilling career, no matter where they start or what challenges they face. We transform potential into purpose to create lives of lasting fulfillment and ultimately a stronger community. In each episode, inspiring guests share their first paycheck stories, uncover the barriers they've overcome, and we learn how they've turned setbacks into comebacks. We talk about rebuilding and the lessons that shape a career and our lives. Whether you're navigating your own career path or cheering someone else on, this podcast is here to remind you success is a journey, and every step forward matters. Let's get started. My name is Bonni Pomush. It is my honor to serve as CEO here at Working Wardrobes. And I am here today with the one and only Lindsay Oglesby. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm delighted to have you with me today and to discover more about you.
Yes, I'm excited to explain everything and talk to you about all of my life and working and all of that.
All the thing, yeah. Well, Lindsay, I have a bit of a tradition on this podcast, which is to hear first paycheck stories. It's always fun to learn about a person's origins because oftentimes it really has no symmetry or sequence with what they're doing today. So without any further ado, Lindsay Oglesby, would you please tell us what is your first paycheck story? How did you earn those bucks? What did you learn earning those bucks? And share a little bit with us about how you got the job.
Absolutely. And I love the question because exactly what you said, it has nothing to do with what I do. So right on point. My very first job was delivering Chinese food. And I basically, when I turned 16 on my 16th birthday, my dad was like, hey, enjoy today, honey. Happy birthday. You're 16. And I was like, okay, great. Thanks, Dad. But why are you saying it like that? And he's like, because tomorrow I'm taking you out and you're getting a job. And I was like, what? And I was like, whatever, Dad. He's like, no, tomorrow we're getting you a job. But right now, enjoy the day. But tomorrow you're starting to work. So I went, and the next morning I woke up and he was like, okay, get in the car. We're going to go put applications in. This was back in the day where you fill out physical applications and people put help wanted signs up in their storefronts. And he just drove me around the neighborhood and was like, okay, go put an application there, go put an application there. And it was basically restaurant type places where I could hostess or whatever. And that were close to home, so we didn't have to drive too far. And so that's what we did. And I got a job walking in. They were like, okay, great. You can start hostessing. And by the way, you have to deliver Chinese food too when we need it. Because back then it was they'd be like, hey, can you drive it over? So sometimes I would be hostessing, and then sometimes I would take an order and go drive it over to someone's house in the neighborhood. So that was my very first job, was delivering Chinese food. And I did that for a while. But what I love about doing it is, I met people. So you start to get a different kind of social life outside of school. And that was new for me. I was meeting people outside of school that I worked with. But it also taught me how to multitask because I was hostessing and going back and forth, and then having a delivery and then having to rush back and then jump right back into hostessing. So it taught me how to, multitask and be patient and stuff like that. But it also taught me work ethic. And my dad was, he did me a favor. I wasn't really happy about having to work, that early and because he never gave me a penny after that. He said, hey, I'll pay for your essentials. You can stay in the house. He didn't kick me out or anything. And I had food and a house over my head. But if I needed money for the movies or clothes or gas or anything, I had to cover that myself. So that's why he wanted me to work, so that I, one, appreciated money, but knew, that I had to pay for myself, and taught me how to be responsible and independent. So I really appreciate that he did that now in his nipple.
Exactly.
In the moment, not so much, but I did actually love it. And then once I started working, I really loved working. I loved achieving things and accomplishing things and learning new stuff. I learned my next job after that I was a baker at Fuddruckers, so I baked goods and I baked buns and I made cookies and brownies, and I never baked before in my life. And I learned how to clean in a different way and organize things and have to time things out. And there's all these things that you learn that you don't really think about, especially when you're a teenager. So I really appreciated all the restaurant jobs along the way. It taught me things that helped me in my business career, honestly.
I think you just pretty much summarized our soft skill curriculum.
Yeah.
Which is just to say that we hear over and over and over from employers that what we need you to come, as a new employee equipped with are the skills that you can apply in any industry, in any occupation. And they're the skills that you were just describing, Lindsay, like to be able to switch tasks, to be able to stay customer focused, right? Like the customer's experience is dictating what I need to prioritize right now. Even the idea that your dad really was like, and here's where it starts, and you still have support, but you've got to do this on your own is what I expect. I mean, those are hard lessons.
They were hard, but necessary. And I'm really grateful for them now.
Well, I was going to just use that as the bridge, right? Like this must be serving you so well now. So
100%.
fast forward, I know it's only been 2 years since you were 16, but since then, right? How would you describe your purpose, Lindsay? How are you contributing your gifts, your unique talents and skills in the marketplace today?
Yeah, so the purpose part, that's always a tough one because, it's hard to really dial that in specifically, but I thought about this multiple times. And what I found that I feel that I gravitate towards is helping people navigate through complex systems or navigate through something that's very complex. And I really like being able to explain it in a way that's easier to understand and consume so that people go, oh, okay, well, no one's explained it to me that way before. I get that. I understand that. So my first professional environment that I worked in was in an online school, and it was EDU space. And in my department that I worked in was military education benefits. And so we were helping people understand how to utilize their tuition assistance, and every branch has a different system that they use their tuition assistance benefits for, and then their VA benefits and the GI bills, and there's different bills and they pay different things depending on when you're in. So super complicated system, and that's how they get you in, right? When you're one of the main reasons a lot of people join the military is because of the education benefits. But then once you get in, they don't really talk about it too much with you, or help you navigate through that as much as you would hope, or people are intimidated to ask. There's all reasons why. But what I enjoyed was when I would be speaking to the service members, explaining in a way that they could consume and understand it, where they felt, oh, okay, I can do this. I can use these benefits. And then after I got out of that, vertical, the education vertical, I got into tax, and it was basically the same thing. Very complex systems, complex situations that are overwhelming for people. And I really enjoy explaining it in a way that they understand and they can feel like I can do this and I can get it through this. And so I feel like maybe that's kind of my purpose, is to figure out ways to navigate complex situations for people and in a way that they can consume and understand it.
That is quite the gift. And I think you hit the nail on the head. We work with a lot of military who are absolutely, not literally, but paralyzed by trying to navigate the system and access resources that they have so valiantly earned. So it kind of kills me to know that that is a barrier, yet it enlightens and delights me to know that there are people like you sharing your gifts in this way to help others navigate these systems.
Yeah.
At Working Wardrobes, we help every client that is seeking that achievement, whatever that is, right? Their goal for their career. And we use the term career navigation. And it's very similar to what you just described, Lindsay, which is to say, I am your guide. I'm here to help you. I'm going to help, demystify this for you and how you see not only what's possible, but I'm going to guide you through it. You can do it, but I'm going to make it accessible for you. And that is like throwing a lifesaver to someone who is drowning, right? It's really everything that you need. I think also, though, and I'm making my own judgment here, but I would imagine that working with you and that must feel very safe and very comforting to have that embrace, if you will. And
Right, 100%. Yeah, and I think that's why I love your guys' organization too, is because you I see how you guys are able to, help them and give them the resources that they need to go through all of these complex systems and job boards and, you know, and even like different career paths, like knowing what certifications you need to get and what schooling or whatever you need to do is sometimes people just stop because they just don't even know how to get to that next step. But it's nice when you have someone holding your hand and getting you to that next step and explaining it in a way that you're like, okay, I get that.
Right?
Yeah. So 100% align with what you guys are doing. It's
Yeah,
great.
no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I sort of described this one example, right, of a barrier, and a barrier being like a veteran client needing help just navigating that system. But
Yeah.
our clients, I mean, we work with thousands of people. No two people are the same, and each person comes usually with a constellation of situations, barriers that they're facing and trying to get around, over, navigate. Have you had that kind of experience in your life where you could share with us a barrier, an obstacle that you've had to overcome? What was it? How'd you do it?
Um, well, I mean, I think there's a lot of different types. I mean, personally and then professionally. Professionally, right now it's tech and AI and all of these ever fast changing options and knowing what to step into, what not to step into, and being careful with data and your data and client, making sure you're protecting clients' data, things like that. So professionally and with my company, it's the barrier or the obstacle we're trying to overcome is knowing what tech to use, what tech not to use, what we want to use, and then how do we use it in a way that's effective and best for our clients and for the business so that we have better client outcomes. So that's professionally, but personally, it's balancing life, right? And balancing being a mom, being a wife, and then also running a company. So that's been a huge barrier, obstacle. I wouldn't say barrier, more of an obstacle that is just a constant thing that you have to juggle and prioritize certain things. So
Yeah.
I have great support system, and my husband's very hands on, and so without him, I don't think it would work. But I got him, so thank goodness. He's a big tool and resource for me and our family. But I think that would be my biggest obstacle is just constantly juggling those responsibilities because I have 550 children at work that I'm responsible for, and then I have my precious two at home, and then my husband. So they're all important to me in different ways. So I have to make sure I've got a lot of people that I take care of. So just juggling that.
How do you do it, Lindsay? Because I think about that, and sometimes it feels like whack-a-mole. Sometimes it feels like a line. I mean, like I often struggle too with I think about it as the enoughness.
Yes.
And for me, it's the like, did I give you enough? Did I give you enough? Like, what did I give me enough?
Yeah.
Did I show up enough? Was I enough? Like all this enoughness. How do you make that balancing act really reflect who you are and your values and how you want to show up?
Well, I make sure I have very clear boundaries that I have to set. Obviously we make exceptions every here and there, but like my mornings are with my kids. I take them to school every morning when they're in school, and that's a very defined boundary that I have. I will be at work as soon as I'm done dropping the kids off and dealing with whatever I have to deal with the kids in the morning. Everyone else is at work before me, but that's okay because they all know that that's my priority and that I'm with my kids in the morning, but I'm also there way after they are at the end of the day. So they know I make up for it. So, but we're not counting receipts or anything like that. But it's something that they can see and know that is important to me. And I think that they appreciated that. Yeah. They understand that my children or my family to come first in the morning, and then I'll be in as soon as I'm done.
That's a really beautiful illustration of leading by example, isn't it? And that, again, no two people are the same. Like what you need to have prioritized is different than me, and making that accommodation, if you will, for everyone's.
Yeah, and so my husband, he does all the after school stuff and all the stuff that would be much harder for me to handle in the afternoon. So we just had to figure out what worked for our family, and that was a way that we made it work to where I still had the time with them, and he was still there, and it felt like it was a partnership, but it wasn't all just on him.
I bet your kids must feel all that love.
I hope so. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Well, I'm not wishing this on you, but this is the situation that most of our clients are in, where they've had a career or they're just not resourced well enough to have had a career and have had jobs, right? But whatever the situation is, they're in what I think of as rebuild. I mean, we even talk about rebuilding careers, real talk, real growth. This podcast is really about this common thread that we have as humans going through all of these life experiences. And one of the experiences that many of us share in common is having rebuilt our careers, having gone through that again. Lindsay, if you were to need to rebuild your career today, how would you approach it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I love this question. I've done it once. I did the education career and then decided that wasn't what I wanted to stick in, and then got into tax. And so, and if I decided I was going to be done with tax and start all over again, I would do what I did last time, which was start small. And I start small, and you look at what you're good at. So think about what you're good at, and then, take one step at a time, but continue to always make steps and go as fast as you can, in my opinion, and just know you're going to make mistakes along the way and be okay with that. Every mistake you make is a step towards the direction you're trying to get to. You learn something along the way. Progress over perfection is huge, because you have to keep moving forward. And I feel like the success our company has had is because we're okay with the mistakes and know that we're looking for progress, not perfection. But also just focusing on what you want to do and what you're good at first. And then, like I said, starting small. We started TRA with 3 people. It was me and 2 other people, and then we started small, just us, and just did all the work ourselves. And then we just slowly built upon that and just kept reinvesting and hiring more people. And then I would also say to lean on your resources as much as you can. I mean, they call it networking for a reason. You meet a lot of people. They have a lot of people will show up for you if you ask them to. Sometimes a lot of people are scared to ask. Hey, do you know somebody in this industry? Do you know someone who can help me with this website? Or do you know someone who can assist in this? People are actually excited to help when you give them the opportunity, and they want to be that connection, and they want to say, hey, I connected this person with this person, because then they have a part of your success too. So I feel like a lot of people don't reach out to their network as much as they should.
Yeah.
But take your idea and just go, and just one little thing at a time, and just keep going. And that's what I would do. 100%.
What great advice. I mean, I'm wanting to bullet point all this, but what great advice. Just do it, get started, fail fast. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be a perfectionist, because this is really going to get in the way.
Any progress. Yeah.
Yeah. Really incredible. This last one, I think, I think particularly for women, I think men are better at this than us, and that is leveraging networks.
Yeah.
And really, we have all these relationships, but not using them to, and you're right, Lindsay or Sir, I have yet to meet a person who has told me that they don't want to help.
Yeah.
Anyone that I have met that has been asked wants absolutely to help. I think the requester of help often has the barrier of,
That's it.
not the receiver.
Exactly. And people are scared. They're scared to ask. They're scared to put themselves out there or to admit they need help. And it's not that you need help. It's just more like you need direction, or you need a resource. It's like reframing the way you think about it. It's not like I need you to do it for me. I just need you to help get me the right resource so I can get this done.
Well, I think you also tapped into the person who is offering the resource, or is, has the access to the resource, also feels really good doing it.
Yes.
They want to, and it feels like it's a reward. And you described it as they're almost an investor now in your success. So accept investors. I think that's like the next bullet point, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Emotional investors and support. There's so many ways people can show up and invest in your success if you let them.
If you let them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the vulnerability part is difficult, right? Like we get in our own way.
Yep. Most of the time.
Yeah. Right? Yes. Right. Oh, and it's so difficult to be aware of and yet do something about, right? It can be easier to know it's there and continue not asking for help.
Yes.
But I think once you sort of traverse and break the glass, if you will, and get through that, to the other side of it is where the magic happens.
No, you don't have to do it alone, and you shouldn't. And everyone feels like they have to, like, no, I got this. I'm going to do it all on my own. And it's like, you are doing it on your own, even when people help you. That doesn't mean you're still not fully, get all the credit for your success. It's just, you need that help along the way. And I think people need to be more open to that, especially women. Yeah, I agree.
Well, I mean, it's like we are people, we are connected. I mean, there's no way to be human without other humans. And this whole experience is a big web of connectivity. So
Yeah.
tap into the web.
I mean, even with my kids, and we'd be at birthday parties, you meet other parents, you find out what they do, and then it's like you're networking all the time, and that's something I want to teach my kids too. Is you're constantly networking, even when you're not in a suit, and even if you're not at a business function, if you're meeting people, that's networking.
Exactly. Oh, that's actually also really good advice. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. There's something in me that's telling me that these are lessons you've learned. But I want to ask you, if you will, let us eavesdrop on you talking to your younger self.
Yes.
If you were to impart some of the wisdom that you've collected over the years and share it to younger Lindsay, what would you tell her? But P.S. There's people listening.
Yeah. So for me, 100% was just to focus on what, matters to me, and not focus on what other people think about it. Because it honestly doesn't matter. And I know it's so easy to say, and I talk to my daughter all the time. I'm like, the moment you stop caring about what other people think is so liberating, right? Once you finally are like, oh, I don't really care what they think. It's fine. I'm doing this my way, regardless. It's very liberating, and it's easier said than done. And I get that, especially for, when you're younger. So trying to figure out what matters to you and not care about what other people think, for sure. But trusting your gut is really huge too. Like, when that feeling pops up for a reason. But some people confuse the nerves, sometimes wrong. Like, just because you're nervous doesn't mean that's the wrong way to go. Sometimes when you've got that nervous gut, that means you're going in the right direction, and that means it's time to jump. It's like when you have to jump, if I'm not a skydiver, I'll never do that. But but if you were to jump, you've got to do the jump, and you're nervous, but once you do it, you're like, it's freeing, So sometimes it's just taking that jump, and those nerves in your belly are telling you it's time to do it, So I think trusting your gut, but also knowing, like, just because you're nervous about it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it at the same time. Also, just like I was saying earlier, like, taking one small step at a time is really, really, really important. Progress is great, but also delegating sooner. Like, I wish that's one thing I would even tell myself 5 years ago, which is try not to do it all yourself. And once you do have support system around you, start delegating as much as you can out, so you can start focusing on growth or whatever other things that you want to focus on. And don't wait, just go. Be like faster, because it doesn't matter how talented you are sometimes, or how much money you have, or how much what your company, like, investments your company has. Whoever does the thing the fastest usually wins, right? So, because I've already done it, messed it up, fixed it, and I'm moving forward. By the time a lot of people are, like, aiming for that perfection, or they're planning and strategizing and getting everything, all their ducks in a row. Like, I'm not saying don't plan, but plan and go as fast as you can, so that, you can make the mistake and learn from it and keep moving forward faster than the people that are like waiting 6 months to take the same step that you took in a month, something like that. So that's what I would tell myself, is to move faster. Don't think about what anyone else is saying, and, start small and take one step at a time.
I love this go about you.
Yeah.
Like, and you use that with the skydiving example. But this is like, be brave and just do it anyways.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're afraid, just do it.
It's okay. Screw it up. It's fine. Screw it up, and then you'll learn something from it. People are so scared of failure, but success is a ton of failures that have happened first, right? And I can't even tell you, it's so true, but it is. And I think a lot of people don't enjoy the journey, and that the one thing I notice a lot with younger generation is they all want this outcome at the end. Like, they want success, and they want all this money, and they want all this accolades, but they get there and they're not like necessarily happy and they want to get there so fast, right? And that they want too fast. They don't necessarily move. Like the journey is so important, and like the messing up and like the hiccups along the way and all the lessons that you learn are almost more like once you go through it and you go back and when you go back and look at it, you're like, wow, that was such a cool experience that it was hard, and but you learn so much through the journey. It's almost, it's not as fun to win the trophy at the end if you just jump to winning right there. Like if you don't practice and fail and almost win and then lose, and then you got to go through all of those feelings and those ups and downs to genuinely appreciate the outcome that you get to at the end. So like that part you need to slow down is the one part. I might be a little counterintuitive for what I'm saying, but
Well, there's like a speed limit kind of thing that you're looking for. And it's like, don't go 25, but don't go 100.
well, go fast and do the stuff, but enjoy it along the way. That's what I want people to do, is enjoy the journey and don't be so focused on the outcome at the end.
I understand what you're saying, Lindsay. I think there's a yoga teacher that I love that always talks about fail, first attempt in learning, right? And what you're describing is that journey and really embracing the journey, for the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, the obstacles are the way of getting there. And that is where the growth and the learning comes. But also the enjoyment of, you got to the next peak, you got to the next summit, and now you're aiming for the next.
As we appreciate it more. Yeah. Because you earned it, and you're like, you know what you had to get through to get to that place.
Yeah. You can savor that a bit more. It means something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap, I love to also close with parting words of wisdom. I think we are all like little libraries, like containers that are collecting all of this wisdom as we go through the journey. And I'm always inspired by what's inspired you. What have you learned? What would you like to share, not just with your younger self, but with our audience of listeners? The stakeholders of Working Wardrobes are wide and varied, right? So parting words of wisdom, Lindsay, that you would like to share with our community of listeners.
Yeah, I would say I think you're capable of more than you think you are. That's a big one. A lot of people don't give themselves enough credit, and I feel that's why I say jump, do it, because I think a lot of people underestimate themselves. So I would say that. Also, what I mentioned earlier about hard seasons in life, right? They build strength, and enjoy that part. And like I like for TRA, for example, I worked at another tax place, and it might have been like one of the worst jobs I've ever had in my life. And it was a tough season. Let's just say, my husband was like, it's not worth it. I know we're doing this financially and it's great, but like, you're just so miserable. I've never seen you so unhappy. But if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't have met some of the people that I met, and I wouldn't have learned a lot that I learned to make TRA what it is today. So in that hard season, I got a lot of strength out of it, and I learned so many lessons that it made me part of who I am today, and where I'm at today was because of that experience. So get out of those hard seasons, but realize that they do happen for a reason.
That's like kind of an irony with the tax season. It's like how
season. Yeah, I know. I didn't really think about that. And it keeps showing up. Just keep showing up. You got to keep showing up. Don't give up. Show up. That would be another one.
Yeah. I know that's actually resonating a lot with me right now, because summertime is really hard to keep showing up when you want to play and enjoy where we live and all those things. But the obstacle piece, when you were describing that, Lindsay, that really resonates with me, that to enjoy that's difficult, but to know that you're accumulating relationships and things, maybe what to do, maybe what not to do, those lessons are all this collection that you see it clear as you're on that obstacle journey.
And you do learn that. And that's it's hard to see it when you're in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when we afterwards, I was like, well, these are all the things I don't want to ever do. And I learned like, we can't ever do this because of that hard season that I was in at that other place. So it's always hindsight and all of that stuff. When you're in it, it's so hard to see it. But it's a good reminder that when you're in one of those seasons, be like, okay, I'm going to learn a lesson from this at some point, right? And just realize like there is something I'm going to get out of this at some point, and I got to keep showing up and keep pushing through it.
What you're describing sounds to me a lot like you're almost coaching yourself, that you have accumulated this wisdom and that you are able to impart it to yourself on the regular. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I have to. I mean, as a woman in business, we have to advocate for ourselves all the time and teach ourselves. We don't always have somebody to lean on or to have as a mentor or something like that, you know? So self-talk is really, really important, and positive self-talk is really important, but also mindset is huge for me. And I feel like our mind has so much control over the energy we put out, and the energy we put out is what we get back. And if we switch our mindset and we switch the energy we put out, then everything changes at that point. So I'm always constantly trying to reframe a negative thought into a different thought. And how can I reframe this to where it's something that I want, not focusing on what I don't want. Let me focus on what I do want to achieve, and doing things like that. So 100%, I'm always coaching myself in my head.
Wow. And it's almost like you're a third party observer then of your thoughts, and you're able to really hear them and be self, not the thought, like separate from that, and hear the thought and change the thought to be the Lindsay who's driving. Yeah, the thought is driving.
Right. I try. And it's not always successful. But yeah, it's a constant, thing that you always have to work on.
It sounds like a muscle. I mean, that you're constantly working it out. Good for you. Can I ask you, how did you learn to do that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a big, I think maybe it started with The Secret years ago, right? But I really felt drawn to that. And once I started really thinking about things in that way, a lot of my life did change, because I wasn't focusing on the problems. I was focusing on what I wanted. And if you just continue to do that, then life can pick up from there.
That is such an bonus extra, if you will, words of wisdom. So all of that's to focus on what we work on more of in our lives. We are focusing on our lessons learned, our strength come from obstacles, from the struggle, that will continue to see that success. Lindsay, it has been an absolute delight to have this episode of Real Talk, Real Growth, and discussing how we rebuild our careers, how we think about our work and ourselves, and how we learn these lessons on the daily, whether it was as youth in our first positions or literally right here, right now.
Yeah.
It's for having me. It was a delight to have you. Thank you so much.
I loved it.
Thanks for tuning in. This is our latest episode of Real Talk, Real Growth. I'm Bonni Pomush here with Lindsay Oglesby. Thanks for listening.
We all know someone who's out of work. Hundreds of thousands are unemployed in Southern California. Working Wardrobes is here to help. At no cost to you, our career coaches will get you job ready. The time is now. Time to update your resume. Time to practice interview skills, time to get job training, and time to learn new skills. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it can change your life. This is your time. Call Working Wardrobes at 714-210-2460.